We've got major breaking news. A powerful 8.7 earthquake. That's right, an 8.7 earthquake near Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula has triggered tsunami watches. The entire U.S. West Coast, including California, Oregon, and Washington, as well as Hawaii and Japan's Pacific coast, are now on alert. Officials say the threat level is not clear yet, especially for how it would impact us. But residents should stay prepared. Kamchatka's governor called it the strongest quake there in decades, with minor damage reported to a kindergarten. Thankfully, no injuries there.
And there's more. Alaska is now under a tsunami advisory as we give you a live look of Santa Monica and the coastline there. Tsunami watch again for California, Oregon, and Washington state.
When we think of our region, the area that you are most concerned about would be Marina del Rey and areas that are under sea level. Those are areas where there tends to be an evacuation zone in the case of a tsunami. We do not have news to do that yet. We're going to see. The Hawaiian Islands are under a tsunami warning. This is a live look at Waikiki Beach. If a tsunami impacts Hawaii, it's expected to happen around 7:17 Hawaii time, which is 10:17 in Los Angeles. So that'll happen live during our 10 o'clock news tonight, if it happens.
Let's bring in meteorologist Adam Kruger now to talk more about this and the tsunami watch that we're seeing unfold.
Right, so the terminology is important here, and like you've been saying, a tsunami watch is in effect for the California coast and really the entire west coast of the U.S. So a watch essentially is like a preliminary type of thing, meaning watch out, pay attention to info that may come out. A watch could either get canceled or a watch could turn into an advisory or warning, which would mean you might need to take action. So right now it's kind of a wait and see situation. If a warning would be the most serious. Warning means destructive waves and flooding. An advisory means the waves could be dangerous, but widespread flooding is not expected. So warning is the worst, advisory is one below that, and then a watch is basically we just need to wait and see how things pan out and see if it might turn into an advisory or warning, or it gets canceled.
I mean, this is one of those things where we're talking about the ripple effect, because as he said, 7:17 it would potentially hit our time.
So from
or
what
was that
that's where that would hit. That would hit Hawaii 10:17. So then it's got to keep moving west.
Got it.
So you would probably be in the middle of the night here.
And I was kind of scrambling to look up all this right now from tsunami.gov is one resource to look at. But from what I can see, the estimated potential time of arrival will be around 11 p.m. for our area.
Okay.
But now I need to look more into that, because that would be from Hawaii to here. That seems like that'd be, if it's 10:17 our time, Hawaii, and 11 p.m. here, would be a little quick for it to go from Hawaii to here.
So we are starting to see some images out of Russia. There's a town called Severokursk, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, that looks like, and it's an island, and it looks like there's a pretty big tsunami wave that's hit that town, and it's starting to do some damage there. We are reminded of what happened. If people remember that big quake in Japan, Fukushima, that was massive, and we had the tsunami warning. I remember going out and reporting on this in Santa Monica, in Marina del Rey.
I covered it in Santa Cruz, and all of
the wave was like this.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and so, you know, a tsunami, people think of what happened in Fukushima. That's not necessarily what we would have here. So I don't want everybody to be panicked that all of a sudden we're going to, you know, everybody's got to run for the hills.
Right.
But there are some areas, especially the areas in Russia and maybe in Japan, that have real concerns right now.
Sure. And keep in mind, there are a lot of buoys in the ocean that can give us some, you know, we got a long time until this would affect us, several hours at least. So we will be able to get data from those and know, eventually I would imagine officials would have a pretty good idea of what may or may not happen here.
So just clarifying the time, if a tsunami impacts Hawaii, it's estimated to happen at 7:17 Hawaii time. That's 10:17 here in LA. So tonight when we're on the air for the Fox 11 News at 10 o'clock. So
yeah, and obviously if the thing is like this in Hawaii, then we don't have a lot of reason to worry here.
Right.
But
you never know.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a huge earthquake.
Yeah.
And thankfully in the middle of the ocean, it seems. All right, so this is some new video just into our newsroom. This is from an area in Russia, and this is our first look at this tsunami wave, where we can see, this is called the, I'm sorry if I mispronounce this, the Severokursk area, and this is in Russia's Kuril Islands. And you can see the tsunami wave coming, and you can see it doing damage. And that's our first look at that as this repeats, Marla.
Yeah, and on a closer look, you'll see the buildings being swept away. So these images are out there. There's a watch for the entire West Coast coastline. Here's what I'm talking about here when you're seeing the buildings being swept away. This is one of the largest top 10 earthquakes to strike.
Since 1990, since 1900, one of the top 10 earthquakes in the world since 1900, 8.7 magnitude quake. And you think about, earthquakes as you get up in magnitude, they're not all the same. I mean, that is a enormous earthquake, which we think happened out in the middle of the ocean. Because if something like that would have happened right under land, the devastation would be, unbelievable. But as we saw with Japan, when we had that big quake there in Fukushima, the tsunami was more deadly than the quake itself. And we know the power of water in terms of a tsunami wave is about as powerful a force as there is on Earth. And it can move buildings, it can move cars, and it can kill a lot of people quickly. Hopefully we don't have that situation here, but it is concerning when we start hearing about these warnings and watches.
This is a live look at a location in Japan. So you're seeing the activity in the ocean, of course. As it relates to the concern here, Hawaii has just been upgraded from a tsunami warning to a tsunami watch. If it strikes there, it will be 7 o'clock, 7:15 their time, local time, Hawaii time, which is not until the 10 o'clock hour for us. We're hearing that would translate. Here's a live look at Hawaii and Waikiki Beach. We're hearing that the worst of it, if it were to happen along the West Coast, would happen in the 1 a.m. hour Wednesday.
Right. So again, Hawaii now a warning up from a watch. Which means that they're more concerned about it and that they are going to be having literal alarm bells, which they have set up for potential tsunamis, that will be blaring in Hawaii over the next few hours to get people prepared for this. Let's hope it's a minor incident, but we don't know exactly what it's going to look like as we continue to follow this break.
Live view right here from Long Beach, and while we have a view of the coast, I will mention, and we said it earlier in the news, but the entire west coast of the U.S. is under a tsunami watch right now. Doesn't mean it's a cause for panic, but what happens and what a watch means is that you have to watch out because it may eventually turn into an advisory or a warning, and that's when action would need to be taken. So basically, watch means watch, wait to see how things play out, and we'll see if an advisory or warning is issued. It's the entire Pacific coast, the U.S., Canada, and Alaska essentially right now as well. Okay, now back to our weather, what we have going on currently. Pretty quiet conditions. Typical summer warmth has settled in for the week. Shallow marine layers expected the next few nights and mornings. Very little change in our weather through the weekend. Visible satellite right now shows that there's just some clouds over the ocean, but it's completely clear over land right now. And I want to take you a little further out west. This is kind of cool. We get this sometimes, pretty interesting cloud features stemming off some mountains or at times islands like what we see right here. But this looks just like the wake of a boat. And essentially it's the same kind of like physics going on that would cause crests and valleys behind a boat with the wake. Is kind of like this clearing pattern in the clouds. It's just kind of a cool thing to point out. Mainly pointing that out because there's not much else going on in our weather. So as we continue through tonight into tomorrow morning, again, you see the clouds building in right here for part of the LA Basin, Orange County, but really not making it into the IE valleys. Won't see a whole lot of cloud cover as well. We're sunny midday tomorrow and on through the afternoon. Temperatures tomorrow, we will follow the same pattern we had today. So 60s in the morning, getting into the 80s tomorrow afternoon, then settling down to 70s tomorrow evening. Highs around the rest of the area tomorrow. It is typical late July heat. Nothing really jumps out as being out of the norm. So we have the typical heat in the deserts in a little bit closer. The IE, the valleys, we see some 90s there. Otherwise, a lot of 80s and orange, and right along the coast we'll continue with those highs in the 70s. On to the tropics right now. We actually have a lot of activity in the Pacific that's not going to play a big role in affecting land masses. So this is Hawaii, by the way. There's a hurricane, a major one, Iona. Behind it is Tropical Storm Kelly. Those are both going west. Another system behind that is likely to form. That's also going to be traveling westward. This one right here, though, just southwest of Mexico, shows also likely potential to organize. And notice that path is a little bit farther north. And here's what I think this is going to do for our weather. Not coming anywhere near us, but by Sunday, Monday of next week, there's probably going to be some clouds drifting off of this system. So we see a little extra cloud cover in our skies on Sunday and Monday. I don't think there's going to be a real big impact from that. Certainly not expecting any rain the way it looks coast right now, but maybe a slight kind of impact on our temperatures. But as you see on the 7-day, we're keeping the numbers pretty steady for a while. So it's 84 tomorrow for LA, Inland Orange County, and we're kind of holding mid-80s all the way through the rest of this week and this weekend. Each region I show you here, there's not going to be a whole lot of change. So it's mid-70s for the coast tomorrow and for several days, including this weekend coming up. For the valleys, the Inland Empire, we're in the low to mid-90s. That'll be the case all the way through the end of the week. The mountains, highs kind of holding near 80 degrees. Real quick, I'll show you the high desert here, as we'll be in the upper 90s to near 100. And finally, the low desert, those high temperatures pretty close to 108 for several days.